Hello, students. Let's start with chapter number 9 I Love India. Now, let's listen. We often see t shirts with the words I love India printed on them. Now, do you love India? How much do you love? How much do you know her, as in how much do you know your country? Now, getting to know your country is the first step towards developing the deep love for her. So, whenever you start to know about someone, whether it is a people, whether people, or I mean the friends, relatives, etc., or even your country. When you the first step is towards developing love for them is to know about them. Now, India. So let's know. Let's start. Let's know our country. Let's see how much we know our country. Now, as you know, India has a great variety of plants, animals, and birds. Now, these are part of a natural riches. Natural riches, as in the rivers, the mountains, the forest, whatever is there in our environment is our natural riches, and the plants and animals and birds are the part of it. Now, we must care and protect them as an important part of our heritage. Heritage, as in our history, our wealth. These things are our wealth, and we should protect and care for them. Now, let's read about, we will see how the people of India have been aware of our animals and birds since ancient times. So it is not like that nowadays only we have animal sanctuaries or bird sanctuaries, but in the from the ancient time, like in our forefathers, also knows much more about the animals and birds of India, right? So he now the all the experiments and all the researches started, but earlier also in the normal way, our forefathers were very fond of animals and birds, or they know about the natural resources. Now let's read this about the below article. Like it is, the name is Our Animal Wealth. In 2003, there was some exciting news of the scientists around the world, right? That was news for the very good news for scientists around the world. The news was, it came from India, and it was the discovery of new species of monkey. As we see, monkey is a very nowadays we see the monkeys around our house also, here in there under trees also. It's a very common creature, but there is a new species of monkey which is far more different than the normal monkey which we see in the cities, right? Which was later named the Arunachal macaque. Now, Arunachal macaque, it was a name given to that monkey. Now, what was new in this monkey? The new monkey was discovered by the group of international scientists. The international scientists who are working or researching on the animal life in the forest of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, Arunachal macaque is a big brown uh, monkey. Now, it is a big and brown, as you can see in the picture. Okay, it has a short tail, not a long tail like other monkeys, and an orange brown tuft. You can see here a kind of a cap or a cover tuft of fur on his head. Now, no one outside the world, I mean, in after this research, the all around the world, the scientists came to know about this animal, that this kind of animal exists in the in India. Now, but Arunachal Pradesh, the tribes or the hill tribes around Arunachal Pradesh, or who were the people who were living near the forest, okay, they knew about this monkey. And for them, it was not a new discovery. They had always known about its existence. Now they used to call, but they used to call it Manzala. The name given by the people to the monkey was Manzala. They used to tell stories in the. If you find, you can find the these monkeys or in their stories, in their songs, in their poetries. Okay, so they are very much familiar with this kind of creatures. But after so many years, the scientists discovered this, and it was new for us. When the Manzala raids and attacked their barley and paddy fields, like their farms, they shoo it away. They just um, don't want this creature to harm their fields. Ancient people in all parts of India lived in close touch with nature and animals for many centuries. Now, our olden day, in the olden our history, like the people in many more years back, or thousands, maybe a thousands years back, people used to live in India. They always in a earlier. Now we are living in the cities like a concrete jungle, but they used to live in near to the nature. Okay, near to the nature, as in they are in a close touch or a close contact with the nature and the animal life, right? In prehistoric times, I mean, many more years in the history, in the past, now new people drew pictures. They used to draw the pictures, okay, of these animals, and they saw to see that, to show it to the people, or they sometimes, as a symbol of pride, they show that hunted animals. Okay, the picture shows that they admire some animals, they admire, or some animals, the picture shows that how fearful the animal is. Okay, and some animals they worship, like, right, in the nowadays we know that now we worship, how we worship cow. So they used to worship on animals. They used to paint that on the walls. Many of these pictures can be seen even today. Also, we can see that there is a Bhimbetka caves in Vindhya range, as is a range of mountain in Vindhya. Okay, these cave paintings show that our ancestors, means our forefathers, okay, knew about the animals like bisons. Like bisons is a wild ox. Okay, antelopes, tigers, horse, bears, and many more animals they used to know. Now, the birds and the beasts, like birds and the wild animals of our country, are depicted in our literature, paintings, sculptures, and craft. You means you can find these about these animals or creatures in our literatures, as in poetries and stories and novels. We can find them on the paintings, the wall paintings, sculptures, as in the statues and or made or monuments, and the craft. Okay, we can find many more things about these animals. We have a tradition to protecting animals and birds in our country. We like our granthas, our religious books also um, always teaches us to protect these our animals and birds, right? Gautam Buddha, who was a founder of Buddhism, taught that all the creatures must be treated kindly. We should not harm them. Ashoka was one of the greatest king. Now, he never used to believe in non-violence. He always want wars and victories. But after coming in the context with Buddhism, now he laid down the rules to protect animals, and he always believed that we should create certain areas where the wild animals were protected. Nowadays, we can see many sanctuaries where the animals are protected. The Mahabharata warns, or Granth Mahabharata, it also warns that we should not cut down the forest with its tigers. Means the we should not throw them away. The tigers perishes. Without the tigers, forest doesn't exist, and the forest, without the forest, the tiger doesn't exist. Okay, so we should so the tiger should stand guard. I mean, we should always protect the tigers. Okay, and we to protect the tigers, we should protect our forest. Mahavira, the saint, giant saint. Now you all are familiar with Mahavir Swami. He was a giant saint, and he strongly believed in ahimsa. Ahimsa as in non-violence. Okay, He preached, and whenever he was saying something about the religious, he always used to say that no one should harm any living creatures, because all the living creatures are part of our life. Now, even today also, Jains follow his teaching of non-violence. During Paryushan and all, they don't eat such some vegetables, or they don't cook something, because why? They believe that we kill the insects while performing this kind of actions. India is proud of its animal wealth, and has a tradition of protecting them. Now we know that there are so many rules made now to protect the animals, to protect the world, to protect our wildlife. There are so many centuries made to protect them, okay, and to stop the animals to be extinct. Right? We always believe in protecting the environment. We used to celebrate the environment day also, right? And so this is a rule made by India, or we always know, we as a Indian people, we should follow, we must take care of our well animal and both our natural environment.